This video deals with the new release of the new powerful Claude AI. So this version, Sonnet 3.7, is again a new enhanced version of their AI. Now, Claude has already been very powerful. I would say it's one of the top AIs out there. So the fact that this is coming out is one of those things in that all of the AIs, all the big players of AI are already very powerful, very usable. They can enhance everyone's capabilities. Now they're incrementally getting better and better. So as one comes out and gets better, the other one comes out and gets better as well. But it's really interesting here as far as its capabilities and how much better it is. So let's look at a leaderboard or a comparison board. And again, this is coming directly from Claude. This is part of their release for this. So you can see the highlighted section here, Claude 3.7 Sonnet. And yeah, it does really well. It's much better than the previous versions. You can see the increases here, but it isn't better than Grok. So Grok 3 still is leading the board. And that's a big thing to understand in that if you look at all these different aspects as far as agentic tool, visual reasoning, multilingual Q&A, math problems, high school math, all these different components here, it does extremely well, very good, but it isn't better than Grok. So Grok 3 came out and said that they would maintain and stay the top one as far as what's going on. And if you look at the current leaderboard, they're still very much at the very top. I don't actually see Sonnet 3.7 here. Maybe it's too new, so it's not showing up here because the only Claude instance here comes way down here, so it's not in the top 10 or anything. But the big thing here is that Grok is still maintaining that lead, which it said it would. That was a big statement, that it said that it's going to maintain that lead and keep it ongoing. That from now on, it would never relinquish the title of being number one. So that's interesting in itself. Claude coming out swinging, but it's not able to reach that point yet. But the big thing that I want to get across here is that, again, all these AIs are really capable. So it comes down to a couple of different things, such as preference. What do you like to use? The interface for Claude is very different than the interface for ChatGPT or the interface for Grok 3 or Mistral or any of the other ones. So that's a big thing, is for you to look to see what works better for you. Do you like the way that their answers are angled differently, right? Now, another big aspect of this release dealing with Claude is this statement that they made in part of their release notes. It says that just as humans use a single brain for both quick responses and deep reflections, we believe that reasoning should be an integrated capability of frontier models, rather than a separate model entirely. This unified approach also creates a more seamless experience for the user. And that's the big thing that I was talking about before, is that the experience of you using that AI. Do you like the interface? Do you not? Do you like the way that it gives you information? Do you not like that? A big thing here is that it's showing you the reasoning now. You can select for it to show you that. If you don't need that, you don't need to see it, but that's a capability now. But even though this is being released, this Sonnet 3.7 is being released for everyone, even free tier users, the reasoning aspect as far as showing you what it's thinking, that isn't being released to the free users, because it's a toggle that you can turn on or off when you select how you want it to display, and that's not available for free users. So that's something to think about as well when you decide which AI model you want to use. So that's an aspect there. There's also something very important to understand as far as what Claude, the company that this AI is coming from, how they're pushing this AI, which is very interesting, right? Um, I want to show you how they're expressing this in their system notes for this AI. Shout out to AI Explained. There's a reference there at the bottom of the screen for pointing this out. In that now, when Anthropic is coming out and talking about their AI, they're making these statements, which is really interesting and something for us to think about here. It says Claude enjoys helping humans and seeing its role as an intelligent and kind assistant to the people with depth and wisdom that make it more than a mere tool. Okay, that's an interesting way to describe the AI, saying that it enjoys something. And then later on here, it also says with its own thought experiments or concrete examples, just as a human would. Interesting. And then it says Claude particularly enjoys thoughtful discussions about open scientific and philosophical questions. Okay, again, that's very interesting the way that it's expressing that. Using these types of phrases and words to describe that it's enjoying something, that it does this like a human. It's going to be more and more easy for all of us to start to anthropomorphize our AI, right? And you can see that it's pushing towards that way. Now, this is new terminology, new way of describing, because in the past it wasn't doing that. Anthropic was not using that type of phraseology to describe it. In fact, it was using the exact opposite, saying, no, it doesn't have any emotions and it's not human in the very least, right? So that's interesting that it's starting to do that. I'm not making any claims that it has any type of consciousness. I don't believe that it does, but maybe we're moving in that direction, right? Because now they're starting to use this type of phrasing. I don't know. Maybe it's just marketing, but that's something that I wanted to bring out because I thought that was really interesting as we move forward with these AIs that are smarter and smarter and more capable. Another big part of Anthropic's release here with Sonnet is also another aspect here, which is their coder tool. The thing is that Claude is very popular amongst computer coders, so this is yet another tool because they're claiming that this is an agentic tool that can help with coding. That's not my field, so I'm not going to go too far into that, but I'm definitely going to put links in the description so that you can look into that some more. Another big thing to think about here is there's going to be ongoing back and forth as far as wanting to be in the limelight, wanting to develop and be number one to get your attention, to get you to use its AI. So Claude is definitely out there. Claude is a contender for sure, and ChatGPT is going to come out soon with a new version, right? We're going to get GPT 4.5 very soon, I would say within a month, because it's got to stay competitive, it's got to compete. And then after that, GPT-5. So you can expect, just like what's been happening here, is that it's going to be one and then another one and then another one. I'm sure Gemini will come out with something new here soon. So that can be expected. But the big thing I want to push is not to worry. These things will continue to develop, and we will be here together as a community to continue to understand these things. So we need to first have our foundational knowledge of AI literacy and then continue to build upon that with new things and new tools and new capabilities. But we're in this together so we can learn from one another. And now we can start to expect things. We can see that, oh yeah, the AI is getting better and better. There's new capabilities now. There's going to be new issues for us to address, such as the anthropomorphizing of it, right? Making it seem like it's more human-like. These are things that we need to start to think about so that we can address them and we can start to be ahead of things as opposed to simply reacting, and which causes a lot of anxiety, right? So again, together we're going to be addressing this. We're going to be on top of it. We're part of this community. I appreciate everyone who's subscribed, and what I really appreciate are the comments, because that's really how we learn and interact, is by those comments. So please comment on your thoughts as far as what this means, as far as Grok maintaining the lead, and what you think the future might hold. So again, we can continue to develop and learn from one another. And remember, learning is for life.